Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on Timon of Athens and we get to hear from somebody else today. We get to hear from the steward, who is at the very least the same steward that gave the rest of his money to Timon's other servants and then went to find Timon. A lot of versions consider this to be Flavius, who was also the one who towards the beginning was like, I tried to tell you that you were out of money, but you didn't want to hear it. So anyway, maybe Flavius, probably Flavius, but at very least, we get to hear from the steward. So as I mentioned, the steward has gone out into the woods to find Timon, and we've been spending the rest of this scene, or the first chunk of this scene, with Timon, who's just being miserable in the forest, and not miserable in like the Eeyore way, but miserable in the really mean to people kind of a way. He gives money to Alcibiades to go fight a war against Athens, gives money to Alcibiades' mistresses so they will spread venereal disease whether or not they have it. He gets into a battle of their curmudgeons with Epamantis, and you might want to say that he wins because Epamantis does eventually leave, but on his way out, Epamantis is like, I'm going to tell everybody that you have gold, so they're going to come and pester you. Which he does, because then 3 bandits show up to try to get the gold that they think that Timon has. And Timon calls them thieves, and they're like, no, we're soldiers. And he's like, no, you're thieves, because everybody's thieves, and everything is a thief. And they're like, yeah, he actually kind of has a point, and maybe we shouldn't do this anymore. And they're like, yeah, but let's go see what's going on in Athens first, because this could be a really bad time to be honest men. And they all leave. And then this steward comes in and finds Timon in the state that he's in. He's been digging in the ground looking for roots to eat, but he found gold instead, so he's not in a good mental place. And this steward, maybe Flavius, says, "Oh, you gods, is yon despised and ruinous man my lord, full of decay and failing? O monument and wonder of good deeds evilly bestowed, what an alteration of honor has desperate want made! What vilder thing upon the earth than friends who can bring noblest minds to basest ends? How rarely does it meet with this time's guise, when men was wished to love his enemies? Grant I may ever love, and rather woo those that would mischief me than those that do. Has caught me in his eye. I will present my honest grief unto him, and as my lord, still serve him with my life. My dearest master." So the steward doesn't like the state that he has found Timon in. He or she, actually, I guess technically it doesn't matter what gender the steward is, but historically speaking, it was probably male, but you can cast this person however we want. You can cast the whole play however you want. As I've said before, gender is not really relevant in most of these plays. But anyway, the steward is saddened at seeing Timon, and especially because he knows that it was through the unkindness of Timon's friends that he has ended up here in this situation. The steward is talking about how bad and how wrong it is that this man who used to have all of this stuff and all of these people around him was so nice to them that this is what happened. He's like, this is not like the punishment fitting the crime sort of a thing. But then Timon notices this steward, and the steward's like, okay, I gotta say something. So he says, "My dearest master," and Timon is like, "Who are you? Go away!" And the steward's like, don't you recognize me? Don't you know who I am?" And Timon's like, "No, I've forgotten who all men are. So if you're saying that you're a man, then I've forgot you." And the steward is like, "No, but I was your steward." And Timon's like, "No, I never had such a thing," and blah blah blah. And the steward's like, please look at me and remember who I am. Just give me some sign that you recognize who I am. And Timon is, of course, going to have a monologue about that tomorrow. So I'll see you then for that. Mwah.